Today we are back with Q the Chaotic and his ND Miata. We're going to be doing a modified ND3 versus AP1 Honda S2000 video. So my S2000 has a set of Fortunato 510 coilovers, a little bit of intake and exhaust work, but for the most part it's pretty stock aside from suspension. Q's Miata has a set of sway bars from
Good Win Race.
Okay, cool. Are they just like the street sway bars, the track sway bars? What
They're
type?
more so of a street. They're the thinner ones, so not hardcore.
Okay, sounds good. So they've reduced body roll a little bit, or actually quite a lot.
Quite a lot.
From when I drove it over here, it felt really tight.
Yeah.
Stock suspension otherwise, and then you have the Good Win Race exhaust.
Exactly.
Which is the exhaust that I recommend to everyone because it makes the car sound fantastic.
Yep. $400, 12 pounds.
Amazing. Lightest exhaust ever.
Yep.
I have the UK exhaust mod on the S2000, so they almost kind of sound a little bit similar in some respects. Of course, S2000 has VTEC, 9,000 RPM redline, ND3. What's redline in this? Like
75-ish?
It's up there. Yeah, it still feels like you're revving it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Both 6-speed manuals. You've got a set of aftermarket wheels on here that are designed similarly to the Genesis G90 wheel,
yes,
which is super awesome. What's the company?
TCM wheels.
Okay, cool. And you've got a set of Yokohama Advan tires in 235/40 R17s. They look nice.
Yep.
Cool. All right, and then we've got a couple interior mods, a few aesthetic things with the Miata, but otherwise sway bars, exhaust. That's kind of all you need.
That's it.
Yeah. All right.
Steering wheel if you want to get a little technical.
Yeah,
but
the wheel looks good.
Driver comfort.
Cool. It's been a while since we've driven your car.
Yep.
We drove it when it was brand new. It had like 300 miles on it. I was really excited. I was like, I want to drive an ND3. I want to feel the difference. Well, now you've done some mods. You've owned it. You got about 5,000 miles on it. You've done a track day or two in it. How do you feel about the Miata? You've owned so many cars.
I know. 30 cars now.
Yeah.
So the Miata is the one.
Okay.
So it's been over a year. I normally get rid of a car after a year.
This is, yeah.
It's been like a year and a few months
That's
now,
like a long-term relationship. We drive lots of cars. We film a lot of cars. We've owned a lot of different cars. And I have this theory that a lot of us will just end up back at Miata. Yeah.
I think it's the way.
Yeah.
I've had 700 horsepower, 600 horsepower. Daily drivers, got the Blackwing 470.
That's right.
I still prefer the Miata. I just gotta drive it.
It's just so simple, so pure. It's probably what I should own, but I'm getting my S2000 fixed, and this thing has been fantastic. Really, the only complaint I have about it is that it's a little rough around the edges, and it's kind of a maintenance whore. But otherwise, it's a lot of fun, and on the coilovers now, it actually finally handles really, really, really well. So I'm excited to see how the Miata feels after a couple mods, and these are the modifications that I usually recommend to people. If they're buying an ND Miata, get a set of sway bars, get an exhaust, call it a day, because this thing just sounds fantastic.
Absolutely.
And then do any other like aesthetic stuff you want.
Mm-hmm.
Coilovers, I'm kind of torn on coilovers with Miatas, depending if you're tracking it, maybe, might be worth it.
Right.
I like having the extra ground clearance with the stock suspension, especially for winter driving.
Mm-hmm.
On the S2000, I made sure that the Fortunato 510 coilovers that I got were able to accommodate stock ride height, so I would have enough ground clearance for winter driving, because this on winter tires is a freaking riot. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
As far as powertrains go, we've got the Sky Active 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder in the Miata, 181 horsepower. Of course, we've got the 2-liter VTEC inline 4-cylinder in the S2000, 240 horsepower. So a little bit of a horsepower advantage with the S2000, of course, a higher redline, all that stuff. The F20C is a legendary motor. Miata, though, has the advantage in terms of curb weight, only about 2,300 pounds here versus the S2000's 2,800 pounds. S2000 does have a slightly larger trunk, especially if you remove the spare tire. So a little bit more practical. Back here you can also see the Fortunato 510 coilover adjustment knobs, very nice. Trunk of the Miata. Let's see, the button is right under the S. There it is. A little bit smaller of an opening, but still a decent amount of space for a couple bags, maybe some groceries. You're not going to be living out of this thing. It's not going to fit large items, but still it's a usable trunk space, and Q's making good use of it today.
Yes. Extra cup holders back here.
Oh yeah, nice. That's right, old shoes. Those work great.
Yep.
And you got the stubby antenna. This is the first modification I got on my Ranger Raptor, except I got the even smaller one because I needed ground clearance for parking structure roofs. Mm-hmm. So now I don't know, with my lift and bigger tires, I don't know what I would clear, what I wouldn't. All right, let's go drive the cars. You guys have seen them. many times, and you've probably watched Q's channel and some of his videos on the Miata. So let's hop inside, we'll take him for a drive, and then we'll swap and get some final thoughts towards the end.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite things about the Miata, especially with an exhaust, is the startup. Just gives you that nice little rev to 2,000 RPM. It sounds good. It sounds really good. Gosh, over 5,000 miles, Q's average 28.1 mpg in this. That is one advantage to the Miata, is it is super fuel efficient. Cockpit sizes between the two cars feel about the same. The Miata might be a little bit tighter, but honestly, in either car, if you're over 6'2", you're probably sitting a little bit above this right here. Miata has a secret compartment back here to put your glove box, things, very similar to the S2000. One of the best things about the Miata is how easily you can quickly put up and down the top. So it is just lightning fast, a matter of a few seconds. Headrest speakers, of course this is the Grand Touring, so you get a few extra niceties. Still limited slip differential, auto climate control, heated seats, Bose sound system, a little bit more noise insulation with that cloth top as well. And I've always enjoyed some of the interior accents with the Miata, especially the painted interior bits that match the exterior color. Just kind of brings in a little bit more of a nicer feel. And I love this wheel that Q has on here with the green and purple stitching. Rim feels really nice in hand. It's kind of cool to have a flat bottom steering wheel here too. Makes this cabin feel just a little bit nicer. There aren't a ton of places to put things inside the Miata, though there is a little cubby here for your phone, these removable cup holders, and there's a cup holder right here with some slots. Again, you can kind of move these around the interior, put them wherever you want. And there's a bit of space here. All right, we're gonna do windows up to give you guys good audio quality. Miata is super easy to drive. You can feel the extra torque here too, even at lower speeds. And listen to that exhaust. That's got to be one of the nicest sounding four cylinders on the market. This and the S2000 just make all the right noises. Driving position here is quite good. It feels like you sit a little bit lower in the Miata than you do in the S2000. Very little wind buffeting at 45 to 50 miles an hour, and still stays pretty reasonable even on the highway. Go into, we'll just turn some things off here. All right, let's feel out these sway bars here. Nice rotation, still retains the stock balance. A lot less body roll. I can definitely feel the power difference between this and the S2000. And the S2000 does pull harder, but as a result, the hearing here is a little bit shorter, so you can enjoy those revs a little bit more without going as fast. Still one of the best shifters in the business. These sway bars might introduce just a little bit more body stiffness over bumps, especially on our bumpy Michigan roads, but for the most part, this is still very livable as a daily driver, as a street car. Cars are actually shockingly similar to drive. It's pretty interesting, the shifting experience. throw is just a little bit longer in the Miata, but the shifters feel very close. Great throttle response here from the ND3. So well. Heel towing is just so natural, such a magical balance between your inputs. A lot more torque here with the Miata. Doesn't pull as hard revving it out to redline as it does in the S2000, but still it's a really nice balance of power, handling. Miata's never felt like it's been too fast for the street, whereas the S2000, you can get into a little bit of trouble with that car. Of course, this is a modern car. The S2000's 24 years old at this point. NVH over bumps, rattles, creaks, safety systems, tech are all representative of a new vehicle here. I like these sway bars a lot, actually. They really tighten this car up. It feels almost factory, just with less body roll. And it seems to maybe be a bit more consistent around corners, too. Driving enjoyment, the S2000 might have a bit of an edge in terms of drama and outright excitement and thrill factor, but they are very, very close. There's a bit more refinement here with the ND3, but ultimately they are both, I think, equally as fun. I prefer the Miata's chassis, and it feels just a little bit lighter and more nimble. That's the weight difference being reflected there. The engine is definitely the star in the S2000, but this isn't too shabby either. Beautiful handling there, super buttoned down. And I think these sway bars still retain the stock character, the stock balance of this ND3, but without as much body roll and a little bit more chassis control at the limit. They feel great. It is just super controlled around a corner now. And I like that Q hasn't put super high grip tires on here. These Yokohamas still are responsive, they're quiet, they're comfy, but there's just enough slip with them on the street that you can have a little bit more fun. They let you feel that you're getting a bit closer to that limit. Feel the rear end kind of step out a little bit. The S2000 is a great option too, but know that you're going to be having a bit more of an involved ownership experience. There's going to be more maintenance involved, a bit more expense with fixing things that break or that have worn out. Whereas the new Miata chances are you're going to be able to just enjoy it, maybe add a few modifications here and there, and it's going to be a pretty hands-off, reliable vehicle for you. My S2000 is a little bit rough around the edges. It's got some higher miles on it. It's a 150,000 mile car. We put a lot of money into repairs and maintenance and upkeep. At the end of the day, I probably should have just gone out and bought one of these, but in hindsight, I have really enjoyed the S2000, but I could very easily see myself getting an ND Miata to replace that in the next few years. Q's a lucky guy. He gets to see and hear his car today. So, some final thoughts here. We're going to drive the S2000 as well, but I think ultimately, for sheer thrills, the S2000 is still a bit more fun, a bit more exciting. But just a bit, not much. It's not like the difference we saw between the BRZ or the GR86 and the S2000. These cars are so close in ethos, in purpose. As a long-term ownership proposition, I would either try to go out and find the cleanest AP1 S2000 you can. If you're getting an AP2 for the reliability, for the more modern amenities, I think, and this is probably a controversial take, I think you should just go out and get an ND Miata. I've enjoyed the AP2s, but I don't really enjoy them more than this to drive, whereas I do slightly enjoy driving the AP1 more than this, because the engine is just so exciting and so high revving and so just kind of such a unique experience. Overall, as the car to own and live with, I would pick the ND Miata, and I may pick one of these up someday. It's just such a great, great car. But in terms of driving enjoyment and fun and excitement factor, the S2000 wins. It kind of depends on what you're going for. If you're willing to put up with a classic car ownership experience, that's a fantastic option. I think it's one of the best options ever produced. And for the money that they're going for, these cars basically are, depending on what you get, selling and trading for about the same money. You can get an early ND car, 2017, 2018, for about the price that I paid for that S2000, 12 to 15 to 16 grand. Under $20,000 for an ND is insane value. Or a brand new ND3 for the mid to low 30s, depending on where you stand. Maybe a little bit more if you're going for the BBS Brembo Recaro package. But man, what a great car. Let's go drive the S2000. We'll talk with Q a little bit, get some of his final thoughts, and that'll be a video for you guys. What do you think, man?
Amazing.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. 6,500 RPM is the sweet spot.
That's where it kicks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it gets exciting.
Oh, yeah.
So, what do you think between the two cars, like, as far as raw thrills?
Raw.
What's more exciting?
This is a lot more raw. You got to earn the RPM, so
Yeah.
you got to earn the fun in it, so you got to kind of think it out.
Take it up to Redline, take it up to 9 grand?
Oh, yeah.
Good, good.
A whole lot.
Good.
And
It's happy up there.
Yeah, That's where it belongs, and it feels strong, like
Yeah.
a lot more stronger than the Miata.
That was the first thing I noticed, was just the power difference between the two. This pulls really hard, and it pulls so much harder the higher you rev it. Whereas this has a lot of torque, and then it just kind of, it's the same amount of power all the way up to redline. It builds nicely, but yeah, the power difference. I mean, this is 240 horsepower. That's 181 horsepower. It's a big power difference.
Oh yeah.
But the Miata's so balanced. Like, everything about it is just so nice. The NVH is great. It's a new car with safety systems and safety equipment, and you know, it still sounds great. This exhaust is so much fun, man. It's so fun.
Yeah, I kept listening. I'm like, damn, that's what I sound like when I ride by?
Yeah.
But this exhaust sounds good too.
It does.
Exactly.
They kind of sound similar.
They do.
Yeah.
I think that one's just a little more volume out of there.
Yep.
Because that's like the most extreme exhaust that they do have on there. But other than that, it's crazy that people compare these two cars 20 years later, and this is kind of still the benchmark, I believe.
It kind of is. In terms of raw thrills, driving enjoyment, performance, it's just such a great overall package. Really, the only problem with it is at this point, it's just getting a little bit old, and you got to be aware of maintenance and stuff. But I guess with a nicer example, you wouldn't see as much of that.
Yeah.
But it's still, to this day, one of the best cars I've ever driven. And they're going for the same money.
That's crazy.
You know, you can get a new Miata for 40 grand. You can get a really, really clean AP1 or AP2 S2000 for about the same money. Or you can get a ratty old one with 150,000 miles like mine for 12, 13, 15. You can get into like a ND1 with some miles on it and maybe a little accident on the history for about 12, 13, 14, 15. You know, it's really crazy.
And at that price, I would still go S2000. When we get up to 30,000, I'll choose the Miata.
I think so. I think that's it, yeah. The ND3 is really nice too. They've made some good changes to this. I like the sway bars too. It's interesting because it retains that stock handling character, but just with a little bit less body roll, a bit more body control.
Exactly.
And it's a good kit. They handle great on the street, and it still retains good ride quality.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of the coilovers?
It was straight out just flat. I'm like, man, this is like night and day between the stock Miata and this. World's difference. Even my Miata, this is still better, and it's super compliant too.
They're pretty comfortable. These are set to pretty much full soft right now, and you've got 24 clicks of adjustment, so you can really crank it up for like track driving or hard driving. I have this set to like a more comfortable mode. Yeah, I think ultimately the S2000 might be a little bit like bouncier and you know, a bit busier on these coilovers than the Miata is stock. But they're both comfortable. They're both, you could daily these. They're fine on the street. They're great. Yeah.
There's more space on the inside than the Miata as well. I had elbow room.
Yes.
In the toe box, I had a lot more room, like in the footwell. Your tires are very sticky. I heard a lot of rocks clicking.
They're
I'm
very
like,
sticky.
Is that my GoPro tapping out? I'm like, oh crap, that's what real sticky tires are.
Yeah.
I had a streetable tire. Could have gone more hardcore, but for my purposes.
I like that these give you a little bit of slip though. It's exciting. It's kind of fun, you know. You can kick the tail out. Whereas these, like, forget it. You're not drifting these things around unless you're on a racetrack and you're just like chucking it in really hard.
Exactly. This is all grip right here. This is the business.
Yeah. No, if anything, these Continentals are grippier than like they let on. Like, you look at the tread design, it's not super crazy and aggressive, but these are as sticky as some track tires that I've run. They're insane. And I think they manage heat pretty well too. We'll do a track day on this car. I need to swap on the track brakes later this fall, but yeah, they're just so much fun.
What brakes do you have on here? Are these stock?
These are stock, factory brake pads.
They feel much better than the Miata in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah, it's just the feel of it.
Yeah,
this feels good. The Miata is kind of softish.
Are those factory pads?
Those are factory.
I think you could probably go with like an aftermarket pad, get a bit more bite out of it. Yeah. Get something like a Ferodo DS2500 or I don't know. I don't know what Miata brakes are. Project Moo. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there are lots of people with ideas. Ask ChatGPT; they'll scour the forums.
Yeah, you don't need AI now.
The cars are shockingly similar to drive, honestly. Like, there's some nuances. There are definitely a few differences, but the shifters are very similar. The throttle response, the way they handle, like, it's not as much of a difference as I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah, it's just power delivery. That's kind of the main thing.
Yeah. All right, you drive your Miata. You probably want to film some things too.
Oh yeah.
And I'll get back into the S2000. We'll wrap up this video with some final thoughts. And I've done a couple things to modernize this interior. We've got CarPlay in this car, hidden behind this radio cover, single DIN unit, a few $100. The harness that connects to all the buttons and switch gear here, this changes your track, that mutes, that changes your source or whatever, volume, all that stuff. It's great. It integrates nicely, and it works for the most part. You can charge your phone. There's nowhere to put your phone really, except for right here, and that's not the best spot because it gets in the way of the shifter. But, you know, it's a sports car. It's meant to be, you're supposed to be driving in here, not just looking at your mobile device. No reverse camera in this car, but we have great visibility. We don't really need it. Good to go? All right. Definitely seated higher in the S2000, a little bit higher of a driving position. I feel like I'm on top of the car instead of in the car. These stock seats though are still fantastic, super comfortable. And there's just so much more power here. It's even torquier, I think, than the Miata. It pulls well. Front end here is super sharp on these coilovers. Still, the Miata feels a bit more stable. Miata feels like it almost has a little bit of extra track width to the front end too. It's so angry when it gets into VTEC. Taller gearing in the S2000, or at least just much higher redline. Gearing itself is probably not too far off, and still a really nice top-down driving experience. 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. You're not getting a ton of wind intrusion. It's a very pleasant convertible to live with. We've gone through this car and refreshed a lot of stuff with it, and it feels tight. It feels great. Honda built these S2000s to last, and it really shows the level of engineering that went into them. The fact that they're still class leading 25 years later, it's amazing. The handling here is just insane. There's so much grip. In the S2000 is finally just so sweet. All it takes is to get a good set of coilovers on here. You just have a really communicative chassis. At the end of the day, you can't really go wrong with either car. If you want a more modern driving experience, get the Miata. If you're willing to kick it old school and just go for one of the best driver's cars ever made, get yourself an S2000. You're gonna have a great time either way. Going a bit more raw, engaging of an experience, a bit more performance. The S2000 is the way to go, but you gotta just absolutely love the ND Miata. or really any Miata for that matter. It's funny because this feels very similar to a Miata until 6,000 RPM, and then all hell just breaks loose. All right, there's a video with Q the Chaotic. Thanks again to him for bringing his Miata out. This was a blast. Really cool to be able to drive both cars back to back. Both fantastic. There's no loser here. They're both winners, and you're a winner if you own either one of them.
So after driving both cars back to back, after driving the Miata, after the S2000, I kept thinking about the S2000, like just revving it out. I was used to that power up top. And then once I drove the Miata, I'm like, damn, it's not there anymore. I'm like, oh, well, at least I got torque to make myself feel better about it. But I'm like, man, I was missing that 240 horsepower.
There is it's a big power difference between the two.
They handle about the same. The difference in steering feel, the steering wheel is like a heavy feeling to it, but I was a little bit disconnected to what I was feeling in the road. The Miata is lighter, but I just feel a little bit more. Like I don't feel a whole lot of road communication, but it's just more than what I felt in the S2000.
And they've improved the ND3 steering quite a bit in this new generation. Yeah, new revision, yeah. And I like the steering wheel on your car too. Also, in the Miata, you sit a little bit lower in the cabin, whereas the S2000, you're seated a bit higher. You feel like you're driving on top of the car instead of like in the car in the Miata. I need to get those lower seat rails for the S2000. I think that would make a big difference.
I'm thinking about getting those for this too, because my perfect seating position, I got it all the way back. Okay. Maybe just one more click, but I'm like, oh man, if I get a lot of cramps driving this car.
Oh really?
It's a little bit cramped, especially after playing ball.
Yep.
And there's nothing I can do. I just got to sit there and die.
Sure.
Foot cramp. So yeah, lowering seat rails, I think, or whatever the modification is, I might have to do it.
Yeah, yeah. No, driving position is key, and they almost get it right in both cars. Both could just be a little bit lower, and that would also accommodate taller drivers better too. So, because you're almost 6 foot, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. 5'11" and a half. All right. You got a lot of praise in the comments on one video for not being like just rounding up to 6 foot. They're like, man, that guy, he's stand-up dude.
Man, I'm like, oh man, today I'm 6 feet tall. Got a little bit of extra sole on my shoes, but normally with my socks on, I might be 5'10" and a half.
Yeah. By the end of the day, your spine compresses. You know, you shrink about half an inch.
Gotta hang on my bar at night time so I can get back to my regular height.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is.
Oh man, problem.
Oh man. Well, this was super fun driving both cars back to back. They're just so fantastic. At the end of the day, if you want a bit more performance, a bit more of a raw driving experience, and you don't mind putting up with a bit more maintenance, S2000 is the way to go. I really like the AP1 because the engine is just so exciting. AP2, you can maybe get a bit more torque out of it, some better reliability, but for the driving experience, because that's what we buy these cars for, this just offers the thrills. And the Miata also, it's really close. Like they're really not that far apart. The power isn't as much, but it's still really well balanced. The gearing is perfect, and they're just so much fun. And of course, you get modern safety, modern tech, modern driving experience, NVH feel, and I think the handling is a bit more, a bit more approachable in the Miata. And in the S2000, with a good set of coilovers or dialed in right suspension, really transforms the car, because in stock form it's a bit of a mess. But this feels really good now. I'm very, very happy with the way this car handles and rides and drives. It's just a great balance. And you're right, the brakes do feel better in the S2000. Yeah, they have a little bit more bite and a bit more pedal feel. I think that's really just down to pads in your case. Yeah, stock pads are pretty conservative. So
they say comparison is the thief of joy. Now I'm thinking, I need to make the switch. But that's once I drive away and lose touch of the S2000, I'll be okay.
The best car is the one you're driving. Yeah, between these two cars, like if you want the best one, it's whatever you're in. That's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell this to get that. I don't know if you would sell that to get one of these. They're so similar. There's no point in swapping unless you just want a warranty on the car.
Yeah.
That. And I gotta address the license plate. Somebody on the last video, they said it's Zoom Zoom. I'm referring the song, the Zoom 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 song from the 90s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why it's 3 zooms. And somebody took 2 zooms already.
I like your 3 zooms. No, when I was driving the Miata, I was like, this is the best car. When I was driving the S2000, I was like, this is the best car. And now I don't know. I'm confused. You can't go wrong.
I thought I would get clarity, but now I'm just more confused than when I came here.
We have more questions than answers. We thought we'd get answers. But that's why we do this, right? Is to find the best cars. And yeah, there's a few different options out there.
Yes, sir.
I think for me, my top cars, our S2000, Miata, Camaro SS1 LE's in there, 911 GT3's in there, Boxster S or Boxster Spider or Boxster GTS. You know, those are like my favorites. But for the money, these two offer the best value in terms of driving fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got a similar list to you. The Camaro SS1 LE is my number 2 car.
Yeah.
Then, sorry for my GT350 audience. The engine is better. It's kind of like these two, Camaro.
A little bit, yeah.
And S2000. The engine in the Mustang has more character, revs out higher. Reliable? Well, it's not reliable. That's why they haven't brought out a second generation.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But
oil filters unscrewing themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, vibrating themselves to death. It just it was an exciting engine, but not something I'd want to own outside of warranty.
Absolutely. That's why I don't have one. I wanted to circle the block, but yeah, no warranty.
Yeah.
No thing.
Yeah. It's cool to like have driven all these cars and owned all these cars and then still come back to like the simple, pure driving experience of these two.
That's it, man. The industry they're doing their thing, but I think we need a time capsule for these cars. I think they need to focus on these cars and build more of them.
Yeah.
For a nice price. Definitely a nice price.
Mazda's done a great job basically just improving the Miata over all the years and pretty much building a modern S2000 with the ND too. It's so good. So, and I like what you've done to this car. The tires feel great, the wheels look good, the exhaust sounds fantastic, the steering wheel is cool, and the sway bars I think really help kind of dial in that handling, make it a little bit sharper without going overboard, you know. And how much was that kit? It probably wasn't terribly expensive.
$300.
So for under like for $700, you get the exhaust and sway bars and basically got a perfect Miata. Maybe get some aftermarket brake pads with a bit more bite on them if you're doing track days or autocross or canyon carving. But really, that's all you need, man.
That's all.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again. Good filming with you. Always a pleasure.
Always.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Go check out Q's channel at Q the Chaotic. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.